If you're right around the age 50, you don't have to accept being sick, tired, and overweight. Let me ask you a question. Do you wake up in the morning and you lay in bed for a moment, hoping that today you're going to feel different? But then you stand up and your joints are achy, your back is stiff and tight, and your knees and other joints are riddled with pain? Or worse yet, you walk into the kitchen and you forget why you were there in the first place. Well, the mental sharpness that you once took for granted has turned into the brain fog. And it's like a windshield that needs wiping. And you ask yourself, when did this happen? You weren't always feeling this tired. You weren't always feeling this bad. You weren't always that brain fog inside of you. You weren't always dependent on caffeine drinks just to feel normal.
You didn't happen to bring any coffee, did you, Michael?
Milk and sugar.
Oh, awesome. You're a lifesaver.
But let me ask you something even more serious. Have you watched someone you love or someone that's maybe a friend that fades before their time with endless doctor visits, a growing list of medications, a slow loss of that independence? Well, most people think that's part of the aging process. And what if one of the greatest steeds of vitality after 50 isn't just poor nutrition? It's not just toxins that build up in your body. It's just not the junk food. Well, that's part of it. But a major lack of true rest and restoration, that's one of the biggest ones. You see, we live in a culture that glorifies hard work. Nothing wrong with hard work, but we have to rest. We have to find time for rest and relaxation. You see, we sacrifice sleep for productivity and we treat rest as something that's self-indulgent or you're being lazy. Nothing could be farther from the truth, my friend. Rest is not weakness. Rest is the critical time when your body repairs and restores and regenerates itself. And after 50, your body needs this more than ever. It's non-negotiable. See, once you cross 50, your body's chemistry and physiology changes. You see, cortisol, the stress hormone, gets overstimulated. All day long, we have that stress that's overstimulating that release of cortisol. Insulin sensitivity declines. Insulin sensitivity is when your body produces insulin from the pancreas and it's supposed to be taking sugar that's in the blood into the cells to give you energy. But what happens is you don't get the sugar into the blood because your body has become resistant to insulin. You've lost insulin sensitivity. It's declined, dramatically. Your pancreas has become overworked. The pancreas, remember, produces insulin, and muscle mass gradually decreases. Inflammatory markers inside the blood start to rise. Sleep becomes interrupted. And when you combine this with chronic stress, inadequate sleep, you don't just feel tired, you're accelerating aging. You see, the nervous system becomes stuck in what's called the sympathetic mode, sympathetic dominance. That's what we call the fight or the flight mode, where digestion weakens, belly fat starts to, become accumulating. And then you get fat around the organs. That's the worst kind of fat. Blood sugar rises, it becomes unstable, and inflammatory chemicals that circulate throughout the entire body, and they cause stiffness and aches and pains. This is not aging. This is the lack of rest and restoration for your body. Your body does that, especially during sleep, but there's other times that it does it. I'm going to explain when it does that. In a 2023 study that was published in the Journal of Neuroscience, researchers examined adults over 50 suffering with disrupted sleep. And then when regular rest routines were included during the day to restore the body's circadian rhythms, deep sleep increased by a whopping 30%. Cortisol levels normalized, and measurable improvements in brain function, cognitive performance followed. Improved rest, improved brain function without adding a single medication. You see, that's natural medicine, and that's going upstream to improve rest and relaxation without those drugs, without those prescription medications. Rest is not just closing your eyes. It's a shift from the survival mode into the repair mode. And during deep, uninterrupted sleep, growth hormones, they begin to rise. Tissue repair accelerates. Inflammatory chemicals in the blood go down. blood pressure lowers, and insulin sensitivity improves dramatically. And inside your cells, something extraordinary happens. It's called autophagy. You see, autophagy, it means self-eating. It's one of the most brilliant repair systems that our Creator built into our human body. It's a process by which cells remove damaged proteins and toxins, and it recycles broken mitochondria. Well, those are the energy factories of the cells inside of our bodies. You see, autophagy clears the body's waste products and the toxins that otherwise would build up inside your body to damage the nervous system, create diabetes, and cause you to gain weight, cause heart disease, and accelerated aging. You see, for years, autophagy has been associated just with things like intermittent fasting, a strategy that actually discussed in the supernatural morning technique that I train people on in my Gut 911 prescription community. It's a powerful tool to heal the body, no doubt. Intermittent fasting is wonderful. It's wise if you use it properly. But the latest research now confirms that deep sleep is one of the most powerful natural activators of autophagy. You know, in 2024, there was a human study published in the Life Science Alliance. They studied 120 middle-aged people, and they used sleep tracking devices while measuring their biological markers that were associated with autophagy. And those who got 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, they demonstrated approximately 25% greater autophagy activation. And that was compared to those who had interrupted sleep. Even more interesting, these individuals showed improved protein balance inside their body, reduced biomarkers linked to nerve damage, and conditions like dementia and cognitive decline. Now, in simple terms, quality sleep improved the body's housekeeping and it protected brain health. Yet, how many Americans over 50 consistently get 7 to 9 hours of interrupted sleep? The answer is very few. Now, the science becomes even more interesting. There was a study in 2025 published in the Journal of Molecular Biology that was titled Rest, Repair, and Repeat. You know, the complex relationship of autophagy was examined in the adults between 40 and 60 years old. Now, it's interesting. Initially, the researchers discovered that short-term sleep deprivation, at first, it triggered a rise in autophagy activity. But with chronic sleep deprivation, with the disruption of sleep, the body's repair system got less and less efficient in doing its job of repairing and restoring and healing. You see, toxins started to accumulate in the body, inflammatory markers in the blood increased, and the body tried to compensate. But long-term sleep loss eventually disrupted and weakened the repair system that was designed to protect us, to heal us. So you need to get proper rest. And that is what happens when we ignore our body's need for rest and repair for years. And that's what happens with most Americans. Chronic symptoms over time get worse. It shows up as weight gain, insulin resistance, memory lapses, fatigue, mood instability, and cravings for refined sugars and processed foods. Does that sound like somebody you know? All the stuff that most Americans are addicted to. And this connects directly to something I taught for decades in my book, Carbs from Heaven and Carbs from Hell. You see, while refined carbohydrates disrupt the blood sugar and they drive up inflammation, sleep deprivation by itself makes matters worse and disrupts normal metabolic function inside the body. You see, when you're sleep deprived, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases, and leptin, the satiety hormone that, they feel like you're satisfied after you eat, that feeling of satisfaction declines. Cortisol rises and insulin sensitivity drops. Then you crave carbs from hell, not simply because you're weak willpower, but because your physiology and your chemistry is breaking down. And trust me, you can't fix poor sleep with a better diet. When you're constantly exhausted, your metabolism gets thrown off and the balance inside your body gets disrupted. And that makes unhealthy food choices even more damaging to your body. Now, there was some more research in 2025 that demonstrated that restorative sleep improves the function of the mitochondria. Remember, that's the energy factories of the body. Now, mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. They generate the energy that fuels every organ and system of your body. And autophagy, well, it clears out damaged mitochondria and promotes repair and renewal of the healthy ones. And when your mitochondria function improves, energy production rises and oxidative stress drops down. This is the body's repair and restorative mechanism occurring at night, allowing the body to enter into that deep repair. But when sleep is fragmented, the mitochondria start to get dysfunctional. It gets worse. And when sleep is protected, the body's resilience, the body's ability to recuperate, the powers strengthen. Now, rest goes beyond nighttime sleep. It also includes intentional parasympathetic activation. Now, the parasympathetic system, that's your body's rest and relaxation mode. And during the day, things like deep breathing and meditation and prayer, time to relax with family and friends, gentle stretching and quiet reflection, and walking in nature, all these practices, they actually activate autophagy. These practices lower cortisol, reduce the sympathetic overactivation I talked about earlier, the fight or flight mode. You see, that fight or flight mode, that's not supposed to be active all day long. Rest also boosts the immune system, improves digestion. And in my Gut 911 prescription community, I explain how the digestive system cannot repair when the nervous system remains in that alarm mode, in that sympathetic mode of the nervous system. You see, the body always prioritizes survival over healing. When we create safety through rest, the body invests its energy into repair. You got to remember that. So, what is the practical application of one of the things I'm talking about right now? First of all, commit to 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Good quality sleep. Protect this as fiercely as you can protect your finances. Establish a wind down ritual of dimming the lights down and eliminating the computer screens and the cell phones at least an hour before you go to bed. Practice deep breathing. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. And that signals safety to the nervous system. See, exposes your eyes to natural morning light within 30 minutes after you awake and reset the circadian rhythms. Consider strategic intermittent fasting so that you can get metabolic flexibility and support to help to improve autophagy. Remove inflammatory carbs from the body, the carbs from hell that disrupt insulin regulation and they increase inflammation. You see, small, consistent habits create powerful biological changes and shifts. You don't age simply because you accumulate more birthdays. You age because your body's repair systems slow down. Rest accelerates repair. If you're over 50 and you feel like your vitality is slipping, don't accept it as inevitable. Reclaim your evenings. Honor your nervous system. Prioritize restoration in your life because without repair, nothing else works optimally. Your metabolism, your brain function, your immune system. It's impossible to have ease and disease at the same time. See, rest restores ease in your body. Choose wisely, rest well, and live strong. Now, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, ask some questions if you like, and I'll be happy to get back to you. And by all means, join my Gut 911 prescription community to be around people just like you so that you can be able to get encouragement and get support and be able to learn from me on how to be able to restore your health after the age of 50. So until next time, I hope that you have a great day. Here's to your health.